welcome to my allotment. It's a nice bright sunny day and I've just come up here to do a few jobs that I need to get done. So I'm going to run through with you what I've been harvesting, any pest problems that I've got and any other ways I think I can help you. So first of all, my rhubarb. My rhubarb's doing really well, but I've noticed there's a little bit of black fly underneath the leaves. Do you know what? You get a little bit of that every year. Generally speaking, it doesn't cause any problems, so I just leave it to it. So if you've got any of that, provided it's not causing any major harm to it, then I would just leave it be. So as we move down, we tidied up the fruit cage in my last video and took off the apples that needed to be thinned out, so everything's looking a lot tidier here. I picked a few raspberries this morning. There aren't many at the moment, but there's a few there. I also picked some broad beans as well. Again, not many, but there will be soon. There'll be plenty of those soon. In a week or two, I bet I'll have loads of broad beans and loads of raspberries. So my main job up here today was to pick my gooseberries because they were starting to drop off. In fact, they were starting to ripen, so they were well and truly ready to pick. Picked them here. It is a little bit of a labour of love because I've got one with thorns on it. So I didn't pick it on camera because there might have been some entertaining new words that you all would have learned. So I did it behind the camera, but my husband and I picked those together and I'll be making some kind of stew with those later. I quite often mix it with elderflower cordial, actually. That's a really top tip. Really adds a good flavour to it. So everything's doing really well. I've got kale I could harvest, but I picked some the other day, so I don't need any more. Same with the chard. Sweet corn's coming on really well. I've covered my beetroots, carrots and fennel because the birds will get them because they've started to germinate. And again, you'll probably remember that my leeks are still covered because they were being attacked too. I will be taking that off really soon, but I'm just leaving it over there for a few more days just to make sure that they've bedded in nicely. Because we've had such a lot of rain on the allotment, the onions are actually starting to get bigger now. Now, I would expect these to have swollen to their maximum capacity by about mid-July. You know when they're ready, when they flop down. So, and again, I'll show you when the right time is. If you see any of these, you just nip them off. So it's where they're going to seed. It's not terrible, we get the odd ones, generally the red ones. So if you just look through any that you see that have got this on them, you just nip them all off, and indeed they are all the red ones, which is quite common for red onions. Red Baron is what I've got. So the beans are doing well there, but there aren't many to harvest. Potatoes, I've not started harvesting them, but probably a week or two I'll dig my first potato and see how they're getting on. Carrots are looking really good. My beetroots are starting to swell out, but they're not big enough to pull yet, so they're staying where they are. Obviously parsnips will take much longer to swell out. My cut and come again lettuces, I can pick those if I want to. My radishes, unfortunately a lot of them have gone to seed, but I have had quite a good harvest off of them. Again, it's just one of those things, it happens, you lose a few. The beans are coming on nicely, nothing yet to pick. There, they all look really good. It's worth keeping an eye out on the undersides of the leaves for any black fly on that, because you really want to keep track of that. If you see any, just rub it off with your fingers, you know. But I can't see any at the moment, but this is one of the major ones where if you get black fly on it, in fact there is a little bit just here, it's better to have a pair of rubber gloves on, to be fair, but just rub it off. That's the best thing to do there. So that's the organic way, just to give it a good, just to rub it off. Keep a good eye on them every few days and just rub them off. Bit messy, but it works basically. So on the stems, turn the undersides of the leaves over, see if you've got anything on those. Again, really important that you deal with this, because this would be a major problem if you didn't deal with it. You know, you could lose your crop if you didn't get rid of your black fly. So look on every single stem. I'm not going to look on every single stem with you on camera because it will take a while. As we move up, I've been picking a few of my courgettes because they're doing really well. What you'll notice is you get some little black bugs on those as well. It's never any concern. I'm not entirely sure what it is, if I'm honest with you, but we get them every year on the blooms. I think it probably actually helps with pollination. So you just leave them be. They don't cause any harm whatsoever. They're not black fly. There's something else. There's some kind of little beetle, but they don't cause any harm, so just leave them. This time of year, when it's raining quite a lot, the courgettes can swell out really quickly. So they're quite small today, but probably in a day or two they'll be quite big. So again, something you need to keep an eye on, otherwise they'll turn into marrows. So it's really, as you can see, it's really coming on. which is what you'd expect this time of year. So we're going to starting to harvest more and more things, which is absolutely fantastic, and why we do what we do on the allotment. As you can see, I covered my black currants because the birds had a really good go at this. So hopefully this will protect anything that's left from the birds, and I will actually get enough black currants to make some jam and maybe make a cobbler as well. That would be really lovely. Well, I hope this has been helpful for you. If you've got any questions or queries, as usual, please put it in the comments and let me know.